everybody. So welcome back to another episode
of Nothing But the True Podcast.
All right, y'all. So we are going to be talking about today the narcissist. Okay. Now, we've all dated one except for my friend Jocelyn. She's always had a great man. But for the rest of us, we have all dated one, and some of us have been one.
Well, although I had a great man, I have had encounters through by association with narcissistics.
That is true.
That's very true.
Yeah, so we're going to be touching on that. So we're going to be really like giving out some details about what those relationships look like. Now, I know that I mentioned that I may know someone, or maybe someone has been a narcissist. Can you guess who that someone may be?
Someone you dated?
No.
Tell me more.
Well, I used to be a narcissist. I never really realized it until I started getting older and it became a thing, right? Like, so now people are always talking about narcissists. And then I decided I was going to do some research on what a narcissist is. And then when I read the details, I was like, oh, that was the old me.
You think you really is a narcissist? But that could go different ways. So narcissist is people would like to try to get what they want when they want it, but it's another way when you have a mental illness and you really care not about nobody needs but yourself, and you will go to any extent. I don't think you were that bad.
No, I wasn't that bad. I would definitely say it's different levels.
Exactly.
So I mean, being in like adult entertainment, you kind of trained to be a narcissist.
Exactly.
You know, like my fellow strippers, like we kind of go into this thing where we feel like the world revolves around us. And I don't know if anybody's met strippers, but it's just kind of like, I don't really know what it is. I think because of being in the club and then men worshiping you so much, you just kind of get into this thing where you feel like everybody should worship.
Well, the being in the club, I feel that they're there for a fantasy. So something that they feel they're not getting at home, or maybe they're at home, have it at home, but they're bored with it. So they're willing to submit themselves to be taken advantage of.
About that.
So I don't think you really are narcissist. You were just using what your service was to provide their fantasy. So that's a big difference.
But this is the thing, though, Jocelyn. It leaves the club. Like, the woman who you become in the club, that fantasy, she becomes a real person.
Okay.
And this is what people don't realize, is that I became this other girl or this other woman to the point where I didn't even know who Shannon was. Like, literally, that was the whole process where I had to go and really find myself.
Right.
And so when I think about the relationships that I had, I just felt like, you must do this, or you have to do this in order to be with me. And these are my standards. And if you can't meet them, then get the hell on, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, I just feel like women and men can be narcissists is basically my point.
Yeah, that is a form of narcissistic behavior, but it is another deeper form that I've had the unfortunately opportunity to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And but it's good that you recognize that and you start to work on that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people do want to be around people that they don't have to feel that like they have to give something in order to receive.
Right.
So that is a good thing that you recognize that and have been able to change from that. You know, that's a positive because a true narcissist does not realize they are not. They're always the victim. They're always the victim.
So let's talk more about that because, you know, like I said, and like you said too, like that just kind of came with the world that I was in, right? Like, even when you listen to the music, oh, he better give me this and he better give me that.
Right.
You know, and so a lot of our girls are listening to this type of music. And so a lot of our young girls are turning into narcissists. What do you think?
Because one reason I believe is because they feel Although I was felt sheltered as a child because of the way I was brought. But a lot of the girls, they use their assets, they use their early development of their breasts or their butts, or they go get the enhancements, and they use that to their advantage to get what they want. So I don't really think it's a narcissistic. It's a learned. I believe it's a learned behavior. And they're using to their advantage for the easy way out to get what they want in return.
Okay, so all the BBLs and all of that, you think that?
I'm not against BBL. I do whatever a woman feels that enhances her body to make her feel safe.
That some women are doing that in order to get?
Definitely, because that is what they have learned, they're trained, and that is what attracts men to them. And it's unfortunate, I've never had a big butt personally, and my husband's never been like a butt breast person or whatever. It's more like attitude, your personality, your looks or whatever. So I was never intimidated about women that had bigger butts than me or whatever, but a lot of women are. And they feel, I don't know if it's through insecurity or through just their upbringing or just through past experiences, they feel that they can have an easy way out. But once a woman learns to truly love themselves and know who they are, they wouldn't seek those things to impress another man. They are able to have those things to enhance their beauty and then use that as a tool for their significant other, husband or boyfriend or fiance or whatever, to pleasure them and not worry about every blowjoy in the club or trying to impress them, because in the end, it's all vanity.
It is.
It's no substance.
We definitely need to come back and have a whole other episode just based on that. Self-love and identity and stuff like that. But being a narcissist, so what do you feel like, well, let me just ask you this question. Do you feel like R. Kelly is a narcissist?
R. Kelly is definitely a narcissist. He's definitely a narcissist. I won't go into detail how I know particularly all the reasons why at this moment.
So what are some of the signs of a narcissist?
Some of the signs of a narcissist is always been the victim. I know that he can, as well as others can, cry at the drop of a hat. And they, in my situation, with knowing some of the history behind R. Kelly, he had a traumatic childhood. So some of the girls felt obligated and sympathized with him because he relives that over and over and over and makes them sympathize with that, and it makes them feel obligated. And he knows that so they can get to them. He uses that, like a crutch. Yeah, he really does.
Or like a what do you call it, like bait, and he just kind of reels them
because
in.
and then the soul ties is a real issue. Once you have a sexual relationship with that person, the soul ties is very deep, and it takes a lot of internal healing to break those soul ties, and they can be broken. I have met girls who have broken those soul ties with many men, not just in the entertainment industry, but just in men in general, or women. Women could be narcissists as well, and men have soul ties to the women, and they feel just have this soul tie, and you have to really go in deep thought and really get into your spiritual belief or whatever that you feel passionate about, and to get that, to break that spirit, because it's not all of this, it's a soul tie.
So do you feel like narcissists have a story? Like you said, R. Kelly has a story. He kind of baits the women with their story and reels them in. So do you feel like they have this story that makes, people sympathize with them, and then they weaponize that?
R. Kelly as well. R. Kelly, to my knowledge, as I've known, is a lot of the world has seen also on the Gayle King show. If you saw that, how he's his victim. He just loses it. He's the victim, and then he could come out as this victim person, then he can come out as this real nice person. But all of it is a scheme to make people feel manipulated. Even in our Kelly situation, so many people came against us in defense of R. Kelly, how you destroying this man's life or whatever. He destroyed his own life. We didn't keep his sex tapes. We didn't do all of the things. We didn't know the other parents or other girls involved. He destroyed his own life. We only exposed what we witnessed or we were exposed to or had firsthand knowledge of. So for him to say he's the victim, and even though with all the evidence, burden of proof against him, and he still is the victim, that is the definition of a true narcissist behavior, because they would never see themselves as the predator.
Oh, okay.
They are always have a reason why they're the victim.
Okay. So a narcissist is somebody who plays people, manipulates people, and then when he gets caught, he's a victim.
Right. And narcissists, and it can be like a man or woman. They can break you down so far to your core where you really don't know who you are. It has you going questioning your mental belief if this person is right, especially, and if the narcissist behavior gets even worse when that person isolates you away from your friends, your family, or people that you have known, even social media, and you're only hearing their conversation in your head day after day, for weeks and months to come, and you're slowly just losing yourself, and you're drawn more into their world.
Okay, so I don't know about the narcissist, honey, because I can't be doing all that. Like, I can't be listening.
I don't think you was a true narcissist. I think the circumstances and the that you were in at that time, and you saw how the money just flowing. You hear you dropping it like it's hot.
Yeah,
dropping it like it's hot. Yeah, making it rain. You saw that, and that became a way of escape, of like a way to get ahead at the time that you felt that. But as you know, that is not true happiness, and so it's different levels to being a narcissistic. But it's good to whatever you felt that you had, that you realized that and you begin to work on it, and that is the only thing that matters at this point, because none of us are perfect. None of us.
I mean, I just felt like I had to get my power back. We'll talk about that too in another episode.
Right.
Like, I just felt like I needed my power back. I felt like men, from my father to a lot of the men, they broke my heart at an early age, and being sexually abused and stuff like that. I felt like just getting on that stage and being able to rule over men, it just gave me something.
If you go back to the Eve from the Bible, and again the Bible with Adam and Eve, Eve had the authority to make Adam eat from the forbidden fruit. So women have always had that power to get over on men some type of way. Yeah. And so, we women, we do have the ability to, men, although they don't say it outright, but you do emotionally affect them. And then when they don't feel that they're getting it at home or with their significant other, they go to these clubs and they get the illusion, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to feel like they're being dominated.
So they're dominated, girl.
Yes,
I don't even go into that, girl, because the domination. But
it's a whole nother conversation.
Oh my God, so much to talk about. But yeah, I just felt like when I look back at my life and I was like, oh my gosh, I was doing this and doing that, but maybe you're right. Maybe I wasn't a real narcissist, but I had some issues. I definitely had some
you
issues.
have a conscience. Narcissists don't have a conscience.
Okay, narcissists
don't have a very few that I've met don't have a conscience. They're always the victim.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of our girls are in narcissistic relationships. Yeah. And I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know if it's because we're not raising our males, our boys. I actually have a son, so I raise him to be respectful of a woman's feelings and not try to manipulate her in any way. But that's always a conversation that I'm having with him, even when he comes to ask me questions about women. Right. I try to give him a real balanced answer. So I don't know. Like, where is all of this coming from, do you think?
It's the one thing, it's always been said that it's more men than women, or it's more women it's more women out there than it is men.
Oh.
It's really not really true. I don't really believe, but when you look at it, some women would know that another guy has a significant other, but they don't care. They would like to compete, and men feel that they can take advantage of that and talk to multiple girls. It's basically a learned behavior. So you're doing right to continue talking to your son or any other woman to continue to talk to their son or their daughter about people's feelings and being true to the other person and not trying to just manipulate them to get what they want.
Right.
But to find the reason what makes you happy and work on that and not try to get that by manipulating the other person.
Well, I am so glad I have been delivered.
Yes, you are not. You have feelings.
I have been delivered, honey.
You have feelings for most
So when God
definitely.
says be my next husband, you'll be husband number 2. But this time around, it's going to be good. I definitely know what signs to look for. I definitely know what not to do. So I'm not dating any more narcissists. I have definitely dated narcissists, and those are the worst relationships ever. And like you said, they really, really try to break you down. Yeah. And they control you. They isolate you, right? And then they're like your ruler, kind of a thing, because they have this God.
Yeah, and you feel like you're only happy when they're happy.
Yes.
Or so
working.
you're always mirroring their emotions, and that's not healthy for anybody. Yes.
So my girls, my guys, make sure you stay away from narcissistic people. All right. Make sure that you're dating someone who actually values your feelings. And this is for my women too. Like, a lot of us get caught up into relationships and we feel like we have to do so much to please this man, and we have to run behind him, or we feel like, everything or our whole life revolves around theirs. And so I love watching Jangela with her husband because they have a very healthy relationship.
Well, I almost call myself a narcissist for a minute because if I get mad at him, I would just go silent. And if my husband's been talkative, he doesn't like that. So I said, "Am I a narcissist because I just do the silent treatment?" But no, I try not to do that anymore because I know he doesn't like the silent treatment. So I just try to communicate. So that doesn't make you a narcissist because you try to do things that you feel that you can. That will affect the other person because you didn't get what you want. Sometimes it's just petty. Okay, I'm not going to talk to him for a couple of hours because he said something I didn't like. Yeah. That doesn't make you a narcissist. So if you are in a narcissistic relationship, I've had many women and men reach out to me with that. It's a lot of resources out there for you to call. For assistance. We can provide some for you. We'll be updating that on our podcast after this episode as well. And it don't feel like you're anything less than anybody else if you have fell victim to be with a narcissistic, because they can break you down to your soul, and you do have a way out, and you do have options. So it's never too late. And for those who have not ran into narcissists or who see the narcissistic signs,
run.
I will list those signs. Run as fast as you can. If you already have had relationships with that person, have soul ties, pray about it, or go to your meditate on it and pray about how you can break that soul tie with that person so you can move on with your life. Absolutely. You deserve a healthy life.
And it all really comes down to loving yourself, all right?
Exactly.
So learn to love yourself more than anybody else, and then you won't even tolerate that type of behavior. So
exactly.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining another podcast. It has been a pleasure for
It's Nothing But the Truth podcast.
So we'll see y'all next time.
Have a good evening, everybody. Bye.